Melanie Griffith. In the late 90s, Melanie Griffith went under the knife for the very first time, all to get a lip job and a facelift as well. Her aim was to maintain and give off a seemingly natural element of beauty. However, things did not go as planned. As soon as she came out of surgery, confident and happy about her decision, her new look was not received well by fans and those around her. According to Melanie, she said, "I didn't realize until people started saying, 'Oh my God, what has she done?'" A sad and gripping realization hit Griffith in that moment. Her facelift and lip job didn't look as good as she thought, so she tried to change that as soon as she could. Her only option was to get a second surgery, a corrective one. But again, it fell short of expectation and Melanie even looked worse than before, and trolls on social media did not hold back. According to public opinion, her natural beauty was long gone and she didn't look as good anymore. In a 2012 interview, Melanie said, "Most people are saying I look horrible. The tweets I get are nasty." The actress expressed how hurt she was and maintained that she regretted her decision to do plastic surgery. On top of that, she suffered from skin cancer, altering her face even more, and a horde of mean comments flooded her social media. Reid. In the late 90s, Tara got her first big break in Hollywood in the film The Big Lebowski. Soon after, more eyes began to focus on the young star and film roles began to flood her. It felt good. Everything was great. Then came American Pie and Tara stunned audiences with her amazing talent, physique and sex appeal. But then, one small mistake would change her life forever. Tara decided to go under the knife in 2004, and unknown to her, it was the beginning of the end. All she wanted was breast implant and liposuction. However, she got more than she had bargained for, and not in a good way. The consequences of her actions were overwhelming. Physically, her body didn't look quite the same. With rippled skin from her abdomen to deformed nipples and breast augmentation, Tara knew she had made a mistake. In an interview, she said sadly, "I had a hernia, this huge bump next to my belly button. As a result, I couldn't wear a bikini, I couldn't work." As a sex symbol in the industry, Tara lost a lot of opportunities, and her career took a downward spiral. She finally opened up about how she feels about her surgery. She said, "I'm scared about getting surgery ever again. I feel like a plane crash survivor. My stomach scars are my battle wounds. That's it for me." Joan Van Ark. If you've seen soaps like Dallas, Knots Landing, and even The Young to the Restless, then you're probably familiar with the popular soap star, Joan Van Ark. However, over the course of her career, her physical appearance began to change in a way that has nothing to do with natural causes. No doubt, the talented actress has undergone a number of cosmetic surgeries causing her neck and jawline to appear tight. On top of that, there are signs that she's gotten some Botox and brow lift. Her forehead alone is smooth and wrinkle-free, in contrast with the rest of her face. As a result, since the late 2000s, Joan has looked like a shadow of her former self, resulting in producers and directors steering clear of her, despite her talent. Meg Ryan. Meg used to be America's sweetheart, and her obvious talent and passion on screen gained her a lot of fans and admirers. However, when photos of her began surfacing in 2003, at first, there was nothing to it. But at a closer glance, one could see that Meg Ryan had changed drastically. She looked like a different person and fans and critics alike spared no words in expressing themselves about this. She looked to have undergone like a dozen cosmetic procedures. According to a natural cosmetic surgeon, Dr. Mark Youssef, she seemed to have done some filler or fat transfer to her cheek, so when she smiled, her eyes looked smaller and gave her a certain masculine look. As hard as this was for the actress, she was also fighting marital problems as well as a cheating scandal resulting from her own secret affair. Juggled together, it was all too much, and her mental health couldn't take it anymore. Jamie Lee Curtis. Over a decade ago, Jamie Lee Curtis decided to have her doctor take some fat underneath her eye bags because she was in a movie and felt like her puffy eyes needed some work. But sadly, the outcome wasn't what she'd hoped. She absolutely hated how she looked. She was affected by the surgery, took a toll on her career. Eventually, she decided never to do any other enhancement and became more unapologetic. But sadly, the deed had already been done. Janice Dickinson. In the 70s and 80s, there was barely any supermodel that could beat the amazing presence, beauty, and style of Janice Dickinson, a fact she herself was well aware of. As a matter of fact, Janice speaks proudly about the fact that she is the world's first supermodel. However, over the years, as she went under the knife, her amazing beauty was tested brutally. The urge to look even more perfect got the best of her, and Janice admitted to having multiple surgical procedures done on her body. From a facelift to tummy tuck, facial fillers, and even breast implants that went so wrong but had to be corrected on the show, botched. However, all of these surgeries came at a rather hefty price and took a toll on her financially. It got so bad that she couldn't even hide it anymore. So in 2013, Janice succumbed to the financial pressures around her and filed for bankruptcy. And although some of her debts going to a tune of $1 million was later erased, there was still little to be happy about because Janice had to pay another price, this time with her career. As a model, she could barely survive in the fashion industry, was cranky a lot, and this caused her to be difficult to work with. Little by little, her career began to dry up. Although she had appeared in several TV shows as herself, in over 2 decades, she was only given a handful of movie roles. Heidi Montag. The year was 2010 and Heidi walked into her cosmetic surgeon's office with only one aim in mind, to get her nose reset and perhaps larger boob implants. But the doctor sitting across from her saw an opportunity to show off and perhaps make some more money, so he suggested other surgeries to her. He suggested a chin reduction, then an eyebrow lift, and on he went. And little by little, he kept adding to her insecurities, so much that she decided to do everything he wanted. On that day, Heidi Montag did 10 different cosmetic enhancements, from an eyebrow lift to liposuction to injecting fat into her cheekbones, ear pinning, rhinoplasty, and a whole lot more. But what did she feel afterwards? One word: regret. She regrets her decision as being too impulsive and spontaneous, but on the other hand, there was also the financial toll it took on her and her husband. It was so overwhelming, her career was never really the same after that. Reid. Reid had always been obsessed with perfection. Shortly after moving to Los Angeles, he believed he was too imperfect, so at the age of 19, he went under the knife to get cheek implants. The results were a far cry from what he had imagined. He described the process to be painful, physically and emotionally. He also had to run from those around him so no one would know about the surgery, even going as far as wearing a mask. When the surgery didn't turn out as planned, he was convinced by another doctor to do chin implants, so as to correct the previous procedure. Sadly, Reid fell for it again and went under the knife for the second time. He used all the money he had saved up from acting, borrowed from his parents, and even his grandmother just to get the perfect face, but it still didn't work. He became isolated, hurt, and disappointed. Lil Kim. Once upon a time, you couldn't talk about the rap industry without talking about Lil Kim. She was talented and gorgeous. However, since she dropped her 4th album Naked Truth and her single Lighters Up took off, her name seems to have disappeared from the industry. But why is this? Sure, it could be because the rap game is changing and evolving. Or perhaps as a result of her public beef with rap icon Nicki Minaj. However, the decline in Lil Kim's career seems to be caused by her drastically different appearance. While she admitted in 2005 to doing a nose job and another rhinoplasty, she denied ever having any other work done on her face. Courtney Cox. The star from Friends grew up thinking that looks were everything. Well, she soon found out the hard way that she was wrong. She went under the knife to look a little prettier and slow the aging process. However, she received the shock of her life as she couldn't move her own face because she had put in too much fillers. She couldn't smile, she couldn't laugh or do anything that involved her facial muscles. That is probably hell for a Hollywood actress.